we're talking about really, really deep, dark panic attacks. Like, where again, I didn't want to die, but at the same time, I'm like, it would just be so much easier if I was no longer living. Like, I was so claustrophobic in my own head. I would get drunk enough to just like watch YouTube till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning until I would literally just pass out to like escape my thoughts. And then I would wake up and do it all over again. I'm putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, right? Like I am distracting myself with alcohol and work rather than just solving the real problem. That next day I had no anxiety. And the next day I had no anxiety. And I was like, oh, I was anxious because of this. And now that this is gone, I'm back at peace and I can like regain my confidence and strength. And we were gonna.
All right, Austin and Landon, the boys are back.
Boys are back.
Welcome, gents. Thank you. Welcome back, Landon, and welcome to the pod, Austin. Appreciate you making the long drive, 3 minutes down the block.
4.
All right, I usually go right off the deep end, real deep. I don't warm you up; just goes right into it. These are questions that I want to ask you that are just more like really get to know you deeper, because like our relationship's been amazing, built over the last 12 or 18 months or so, but want to continue to drop deep. So, you know, a lot of people recognize you online. You've posted the McLaren, iced out, beautiful lifestyle. You're flying private all over the world. And, you know, knowing you, I love you. You don't like, you don't flex it just to satisfy yourself, but to prove that it's possible. But a lot of people probably think like you've made it, but no one really understands like the darkness behind it all. Like, I want to rewind to some of the darkest moments of your life that have really created a catalyst for where you're at today. You mind sharing?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I mean, I stood on stage in Dallas a couple weeks ago, and I basically opened up my talk in Dallas, explaining all of the dark shit that's happened to me. But I like to categorize things as inflection points. And I've had multiple inflection points throughout my life that I think have been the catalyst to get me to where I am today. I would say that first really big inflection point was when my parents got divorced and I was 12 years old. And it was interesting because my older brother, he didn't do well with the divorce, but I like mentally at 12 years old spun it into a positive. And what I mean by that is my dad sat down with us and he's like, look, I only see you guys now every other weekend, which is 4 days per month. And he said, so I don't have time to discipline you. I only have time to be your best friend. And me as a 12-year-old kid, I'm like, oh, fuck, that sounds great. Like, that sounds awesome. And so he really helped me grow into a man, and he taught me mental resilience. He taught me you can do, have, and be anything you want in this life if you're willing to work hard for it. And then my mom is a Christian adoption attorney. So she taught me like, here's how to respect women, get good grades, study, be an upstanding citizen in society. So I kind of viewed that duality to my advantage. And I allowed that to shape and mold me, where most people would allow their parents getting divorced when they were young to break them and to spiral and kind of go off the deep end. Another inflection point was in college. I was dating a girl for a year and a half, and she got hit and killed by a car. And what happened was her friend messaged me. It was like Facebook Messenger all the way back in the day. And she's like, hey, Brooke is drunk. Like, can you come pick her up? And I was like, yeah, for sure. I'm on my way. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Woke up my roommate because we didn't have the best apartment complex because we were broke as shit in college. And there was like some crime and stuff going on. So I woke him up. I was like, hey, man, can you ride with me? And we pulled out of the apartment complex, and I could see just a straight shot of where I was supposed to pick her up. And there was like some red and blue flashing lights. And I looked at him and I was like, man, that kind of worries me, because they said that Brooke was drunk. And we pulled up. There was one cop there, no ambulance yet, and she was just in the middle of the road. And it was, I had bought her this watch. It was a Marc Jacobs watch. Then I had bought it for Christmas a couple months before that. And I found it in the road, like 100 yards from her body, from like the impact. It had like flew off her wrist. And I still have that watch in a little acrylic case in my office with her birthday and death date on it. And it's all scratched up. Obviously, you know, battery doesn't work. It like doesn't close properly because it's from the impact. And I have that in my office just to remind myself that like life is short and you never know. Like, cause I used to think I was invincible, right? Like, sure. I just do whatever the hell I want. And in that moment, like, she was in the ICU for 10 days. And the inflection point of that entire situation was when the doctor walked in the room and looked at me, her mom, her dad, her younger sister, and her older brother. And he kind of just shook his head and he said, she's not going to make it. They all broke down, and her dad turns and looks at me, and the first words out of his mouth when he just got the news that his middle child wasn't going to make it, he looks at me and he goes, "I'm honored that my daughter was in love with you." And that was an inflection point where I was like, okay, in this moment, I can go up or I can go down. I can turn to drugs or violence or alcohol or depression or anxiety and be like pissed off and frustrated about something I cannot change. Or I can live life to the fullest and I can help as many people as possible and I can just be the best human that I can be. So that was like inflection point number 2. About a year after that, I got a DUI. I'm sitting in jail with a bunch of criminals, and dude, news flash for everyone going to jail. If they ask if you have anxiety, just tell them no. Cause I was like, honest, I'm also hammered. And they're like, "Do you have anxiety?" And I'm like, "I don't like to fly." They put me in the fucking loony tank with like, with like psychopaths, like homeless people, like banging their heads on the wall. And I'm like in this small little cell with them. And I had to go get a psychiatric evaluation. And they're like, I'm like, "Doc, I'm fine. Can you just put me back with the lesser criminal of the criminals?" Like,
sure.
Like,
put me with the murderers, please.
Yeah,
they're
like
normal.
Anything but these people that are like trying to stay in jail because they need shelter. So that was another inflection point when I got a DUI, and I was like, dude, like I can't, because I had driven drunk hundreds of times before I got arrested. And I was just grateful I didn't crash. I didn't hit anyone. I was like, this is fucking stupid. You need to get your shit together. That was another inflection point.
Hold on. Let me pause you for a second.
Yeah.
Was there any guilt that popped up when you got popped for a DUI, knowing that a year before, not that your ex was, not ex, I don't know what to consider that.
Girlfriend at the time. Yeah.
That she was drunk going through this? Like, was there any point in your life where you're just like, hey, like I'm not gonna, was there a thing about not using alcohol after that or anything like that?
No, they were kind of non-correlated.
Sure.
Cause what happened was she was drunk and there was like a crosswalk there and the light was red. So this truck was slowing down, but then the light turned green. So he sped up and then she walked in front of him. So like he wasn't drunk. And thank God he wasn't, right? If that guy had 2 beers, he'd probably be in prison right now for vehicular manslaughter, even though it was not his fault.
Yep.
So driving drunk is just, it's fucking stupid. It makes no sense. I mean, back in the day we didn't have Uber, but still you can get a cab, you can walk. Like it's just, there's no excuse for it. So when I got arrested, that was an inflection point where I was like, I am never drinking and driving again. So if I don't want to drink, and like, I'll just drive to dinner, because I refuse. I won't have one drink, because if I have one drink, I'm like, well, I'm not going to drive, and I'm not going to leave my car, sitting somewhere.
Sure.
So if I don't want to drink, I'll just drive.
Totally. Well, sorry to interrupt. Let's go inflection point 3.
Yeah. Inflection point 3 would be probably the divorce. I was with a chick for 8 years total. I think we got married on our 7-year anniversary. 25 minutes at the courthouse, and there was no wedding, no proposal, no engagement, nothing. It was more of just like, yeah, let's just go to the courthouse and do this. Pretty big fucking mistake. Kind of fucked myself on that one, but that's on me, right? I had been cheated on multiple times that I knew about and stayed. The relationship wasn't great. It was super toxic. Like I was performing as quite literally the lowest version of myself. I had gained like 35 pounds. I wasn't going to the gym. I had neglected all my friends. Like the way I see it is I have always been like a mountain of resilience. My mindset has always been fortified. But over time, over 8 years, I feel like I was just withered and withered and withered away into like just literally like a pile of sand where I had no structure, no backbone, no confidence, nothing. And just got convinced that if we got married that it would fix everything. And unfortunately things did not get fixed. So the 14 months we were married, I slept on the couch every single night. I drank Jack Daniels right out of the bottle every single night just to numb the anxiety and the pain that I was in. And that was quite literally the worst 14 months of my entire life. Like didn't want to die, but also couldn't understand how I could live like I was, like just so claustrophobic in my own head and just so anxious and felt so trapped. And it was really fucking bad. Like drinking a ton, just every night I'm on meetings trying to just make income to support both of us, 'cause she didn't work. And it's like, I'm having panic attacks in the middle of like sales conversations when I'm supposed to be like confidently closing deals. And I'm like having to cancel meetings and take days off. And one day we're at dinner and she was kind of being a bitch at dinner. And then on the way home, I just looked at her and I was like, fuck this, I'm done. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Not from getting cheated on, not from getting treated like shit. It was just one time at dinner. It was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. And then I slept in my office that night, packed my shit the next day and left. So that was inflection point number 3 for sure.
When did, like, was there a specific moment outside of that dinner that you realized that like this marriage was slipping, or like was it like right after you got married? You're like,
no,
I probably
dude,
did
it was before I got married. It was after I got married. But
Sure.
again, I was just this like pile of sand. Like I had no backbone, no confidence, and I just sold myself. Like the better you get at sales, the more you can sell yourself on bullshit that isn't true. And I sold myself. Well, like now that I'm making a couple $100,000 a year, like I don't want to have to date again, because what if they just want me for my money? Like we have a dog and 2 cats together and all this furniture and this history. Like you sell yourself on all the reasons to stay, but they're not actually good reasons.
Dude, that's so well said. I was actually just talking to a friend about this, about like the better you get, the easier it is to lie to yourself, because the lies are just better at times. How do you feel, Landon, being somebody that's newly engaged, hearing that story? Like, how does, like,
well, I was just thinking about like how many friends I've seen make the mistake of they're in a toxic situation and they think putting a ring on it or getting married or having a baby is going to solve all these problems, and all it does is numb problems temporarily and distract you from what's actually going on below the surface.
Yeah,
is what I've observed. What's that?
Would not recommend a ring or a baby, because it does not solve problems.
It just prolongs and amplifies the problems long term. You know, I have a buddy of mine that you know really well who, you know, things were not good 6 months into their relationship. Things were not good a year into their relationship, and it's like, bro. And this is advice that anybody that's married will give somebody, or anyone can give anyone, is like, that's been in a relationship. It doesn't get better.
No.
If it's bad in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the relationship, you know, as in like the first year or two, it doesn't get better when you throw more pressure and more responsibility on top.
yeah, like what in life does, right? Like if it feels hard in your 20s where it's supposed to feel super easy and like, fun, what do you think? It's just going to get easier?
You're supposed to be like going out to eat and having a good time and traveling and doing fun things with each other. Like you don't really have anything to fucking lose at that in these stages.
Sure.
And if it's hard, then imagine when you have another mouth to feed and a family to support and all, you know, all that. So anyways, yeah.
Why do you think people turn to alcohol in these situations? I know you said you did, but like, what do you think the male responses to these situations and turn into alcohol?
Dude, I feel like in that moment I had to. Like we're talking about really, really deep, dark panic attacks. Like where again, I didn't want to die, but at the same time, I'm like, it would just be so much easier if I was no longer living. But I love life and I want to be here. But like I was so claustrophobic in my own head that I would literally just drink enough to just, because it's a depressant, right? It slows you down. And then I would get drunk enough to just like watch YouTube till 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning until I would literally just pass out to like escape my thoughts. And then I would wake up and do it all over again. I wasn't really drinking during the day because I was distracting myself. Like I'm putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, right? Like I am distracting myself with alcohol and work rather than just solving the real problem. And when I mustered up the courage to leave, I called my mom and I said, hey, I need to rent your beach house. Like I need somewhere to go. I'm getting divorced. Like I'm fucking done. And she was happy with that because she never liked my ex anyway. No one in my family really did. And because they saw how I was being treated, but I couldn't see it, you know, being so close to it. And that next day I had no anxiety. And the next day I had no anxiety. And the next day I had no anxiety. And I was like, oh, I was anxious because of this. And now that this is gone, I'm back at peace and I can like regain my confidence and strength. And we were going to try and work it out. And I went and met up with her one time and had all the anxiety back again. I was like, this is my nervous system telling me that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I was like, I can't do this. Yeah. And then I finally closed the door. Then the divorce got really fucking toxic and really nasty from there because she realized I was never coming back. But her thing was like, she wanted someone to support her. Right, like she was incapable of supporting herself. She just wanted somebody to take care of her. And then when I was gone as the provider, she was like, well, what the fuck? Like how, like, what about me? Like when I was like, I'm leaving, she's like, well, what do I do? It was like very self-centered of like, well, yeah, but who's going to take care of me?
Yeah.
And then she just went and found another boyfriend who will take care of her.
Just another person to latch onto.
Correct.
That's sad, man. But I think the freedom and sovereignty that we're looking for in our life comes from letting go of things, not adding anything on.
Agreed.
And it's usually the thing that we know we have to let go of, that we feel it in our body. Everyone around us is seeing it, but we're just continuously lying to ourselves. And it's such a glaring hole in our lives that I think there's multiple places in all of our lives, even as we evolve through just the easy ones like that, that there's little subtleties in our life that we still have to go through to kind of ascend the ladder. So I guess my question to follow up to that is like, you mentioned that your family, your parents, were there anyone else that were like trying to reach out to you during this time of like, hey dude, what's going on here? And like, were you physically able to let them in at the time?
Yeah. I mean, I had been, let's say I isolated myself from all of my friends. Like I had one friend, JC, and he would FaceTime me once a month. He would check in on me and then he would report back to the boys. Like, yep, he's still alive. He's doing this job now or like whatever it was. But I didn't have social media. I used to make the joke, like, oh, my ex does enough Instagram for the both of us. So I didn't have social media. I wasn't playing golf with people. I wasn't hanging out with people. Like I had really just isolated myself inside of this townhome with my work and with her. And so most people didn't even know what was going on. Like my friends didn't know that I was being cheated on. My friends didn't know that I was miserable. From the outside looking in, they're like, oh yeah, he's super happy. But there wasn't really even an outside to look in on because I wasn't sharing my life publicly on social media or anything like that. But I will say that JC's wedding, I think, is what got me out of that marriage because I took her to the Dominican Republic for this wedding and got to reconnect with all the boys and like all my old friends and just people I loved and cared about. And when first of all, when I was there, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Because like we do like the ceremony where they get married and then you have the reception that's called, I think. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I don't feel good. You need to go back home. So I'm just like sitting at the reception by myself with like her name tag and everyone's like, yo, where is she? And I'm like, oh, she wasn't feeling good. It was always some type of drama of like, I'm not feeling good. I'm sick. I'm this, I'm that. And so I'm just like, it was like kind of awkward. And I'm like, well, this kind of sucks. And the people who did meet her didn't like her. And then I started playing golf with my buddies again. Like I reconnected with them at the wedding. And as I started playing golf with them, that's where I kind of let them in. And they're like, how you doing? And I'm like, honestly, not fucking great. Like not great. And they were so happy. Some of them single happy, some of them in beautiful relationships happy. And I was like, I'm fucking miserable. And then it was like a couple months after that wedding, I was like, fuck this, I'm done. Yeah.
Dude, I think that's a good reminder. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but like, we're constantly in this cycle of entrepreneurship. We're leveling up. We have our good friendships. And a lot of times we're talking about business, life things, which is great. But then you go home back for Christmas break or something, you go back to your hometown and you get to see your friends that you love, but you're not constantly in communication because maybe there's just not much alignment for the future things. But you get reminded, at least for me, I get reminded when I'm around my old friends of like who I truly am. Like it's a reflection of like, this is what I am when I'm not thinking about money or constantly always trying to like level up and create the success metric in business. It's just like, we're just here to have fun, hang out, like fuck around in some way, shape or form. I don't know if you guys can relate, but like, I think hanging out with the boys is a good reminder of like who you truly are.
I don't know if you guys agree with this, but to your point, like when you really zoom back and you think about all your buddies and your boys that you still are in touch with now that you grew up with, when you're like 9 and 10 years old, like obviously you evolve and you learn and you grow, but like we're all basically just like little 9-year-olds running around that have just stayed alive longer. That's kind of like, like a lot of like who you are at 9 and 10 years old is still who you are today. But that just only gets extracted out of you in certain environments, like with your buddies you grew up with that you don't see as much. Because if you're not, married to their family or married to the person, neighbors, work together, or it's kind of hard to ever see each other or family for functions. I mean, other than that, you're not going to see your boys as much as you'd like to. But when those times come, it's like time hasn't passed.
Dude,
it pulls that 9-year-old right out of you.
It's a beautiful reunion every single time, man. And I think this is something I'll do a little dark twist and something I'm learning about myself and just life in general is like, there's times where that 9-year-old little boy was not tended to in certain situations. And like that trauma is compounded to today. And that little boy is still screaming for like the needs that it needed to get tended to. And we're just kind of using all different ways to cope with it now. And so I think being back to that self in whatever way, shape or form that you're alluding to gives that 9-year-old boy a chance to revive again.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's almost like that full circle moment. Like what do you think that little boy version of you would be saying to yourself in that moment? Like in all the pain and trauma you were going through at the time?
Well, it's interesting because like as kids, we're pretty fearless and we just have like all this confidence. Like we can just do whatever we want. Like,
and girls aren't a problem at 9 years old. Like you don't really think of them that much. Like it's,
no.
Speak for yourself.
Like we're just like tenacious little fuckers, like running around. But then you get sold and you adopt the beliefs of maybe the people who raise you or teachers or friends. Like I had a vice principal in school, like tell my best friend stop hanging out with me because I was never going to amount for anything. Yeah, well, fuck you, because I amounted to pretty good in my opinion. So we get sold these things over time. But dude, 9-year-old me, like, he didn't give a fuck. He was riding 4-wheelers. He was doing jet skis. Like, he was fishing and just playing sports and just had not a care in the world. And now at 31 years old, I finally gotten back to that person. Cool. Now, it took 8 years of withering me away down to just sand and dust of just like being in a super toxic relationship. And I just got withered down. But then as soon as I left, I was like, oh, I'm 35 pounds overweight. Great. I can just go to the gym. Okay, great. I'm broke as fuck and building a house that I can't afford. Okay, cool. I can just work harder. Like, it was so easy to like know exactly what to do. And it all, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. I just had to go back and do the work just like I did when I was 9 years old. If I wanted something, I worked for it. I would ask my parents, hey, can I have this thing? And they're like, yeah, you're going to work for it. Here's what you need to do for this many months, and then we'll buy you the thing. So like, that was always ingrained in me. So then when I got out of the relationship, I was like, okay, I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be. Great. Let's just do all the work. And while I'm at it, let me quit my $40,000 a month consulting job and build a company from scratch.
Yep.
While being overweight, and let's just stack all the shit at once. And dude, I don't think I've ever had more fun in my life than when I was at the deepest, darkest times going through that divorce. And I had no other choice but to bet on myself and work hard. That's why when I got to where I am today, it's like, I know that I did that. It wasn't handed to me. No one was like, oh, here's some money. Here's a company. Like, here's some clients. Like, I had to go out and fucking work for it. So it feels that much better. Amen,
brother. I love it. And something that I noticed about you that I appreciate about you is like, you know, you had just mentioned that, you know, that younger version of yourself, you're finally getting back to that today. And I think what could get misconstrued and something I want to talk to you about right now is like, you know, the lifestyle that you live right now, you're having fun.
I'm a goddamn menace.
Yeah. You're a menace. Fair to say, right? You're living a nice little bachelor lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem, and I don't want to assume, but it doesn't seem like you're doing it as a form of coping with the previous shit. It's just a form of just like, what's feeling good right now.
It's kind of who I am.
Sure.
Like, I've always just been a little fucking menace, dude. Even when I was a little kid, like I always talked some shit and always swung my dick around and always had a shit ton of confidence. Like, that's always who I was. And then over time it got lost, and now I'm just like back to being a little fucker, you know? Like, I think I do it in a way though that doesn't like put other people down. That's the difference. Like, I would never step on someone's head to get further along or to like for my own enjoyment. I would never fucking do that. So it's like I am having fun while not harming anyone or putting people down or putting them in a bad situation. And it's like, well, what feels good? Do I want to go out and get fucked up with the boys? Like, sure. Do I want to stay home and just sit on the couch? Sure. And like, I'm just not controlled by anyone or anything right now. So I'm kind of just going with my own intuition of like, what feels good in the moment. Let's go do that.
So good, man. I appreciate that about you because you lean into your authentic version of yourself and you're not really afraid of like, if someone doesn't like it, then whatever. Right. Because like, I mean, just very candidly, and we talk about this over time, right? Like, you're a pretty flashy dude, right? You step into that zone and you're like, it's confidence. Some people could look at it as cockiness, but I see it as confidence, not arrogance. But typically, personally, I would be repelled from that of somebody around me. You are so different in that aspect of like, you have such a good heart and like your intentions are so pure that I know if like I'm around you, like this guy's got my back. This guy wants to see me win. He doesn't ever want to see anyone down, and he's still going to be himself and have a fuck ton of fun. And we're going to go golfing, get drunk, have a blast with the boys, and have a great time. So I just want to just give you that, give kudos to you, man, for being your authentic self and being okay with other people.
Because like, you know, I'm kind of like, I get annoyed sometimes with these like aggressive, hyper, and not to turn this conversation into like a business conversation, but there's like all these dudes on Instagram and YouTube and this and that. Like, I wake up at 3 a.m. I don't drink. I haven't had a drink in 17 years.
Don't
and
jerk off.
I just, I don't do anything. It's like, guys, like that, to me, like that's not a fun way of living life anyways. Like, go get after it. Go take care of business, take care of your body. But then also like allow yourself the ability to enjoy experiences with people that don't always have to like make you money or pay you something or do something to just to elevate your bank account. Maybe it's just elevating your net quality of life.
Yeah. You know? And to further that, right, I don't want to get misconstrued of like, hey, that doesn't mean you like, if it feels right and authentic to wake up at 3 a.m., not drink and stay strict, great. But I think a lot of people are doing it as a form of wearing a mask because that's what they feel like they should do. They're overcompensating in one way, shape or form. Like for me right now in this season, I think it's important, like seasonality of understanding where you're at in your current season. Like this level of season right now, I mean, I would be able to, I think, speak for you as well, because obviously we talk every single day is it's demanding a little bit more discipline right now.
For sure.
So maybe a little bit less of going out and making a little bit tougher decisions, waking up a little bit earlier, going to sleep a little bit earlier as well.
For sure.
But then there's sometimes where like there's a chill season where it's like, hey, I'm going to chill out for a little bit. I'm going to work a little bit less. Maybe we'll go out partying.
It's about having that discipline though, and being able to hit the switch when you know you need to. Like when I first met Austin, we were going out for our birthday. He didn't have a drop of alcohol that entire night. And it was one of the most like crazy nights ever. And he was like super dialed in there the entire night, had a great time. So like, I think that's a key too, is just having the discipline to know what season you're in. Yep. And to know how to like stay true to where you're going and where your momentum's at. You know what I mean?
I think you have to be in control. And a lot of people, they haven't done enough deep internal work on themselves to understand what they need in a moment's time. So like right before my divorce, I literally paid a guy $6,000 to do like deep inner work. And it just so happened that like right after I paid him, I was like, okay, fuck this. I'm out of this relationship. So it like worked out perfectly. Mm-hmm. And so I did like really deep work of like, why were you in this relationship? What are you doing? Like, who are you? And I like a lot of tears, a lot of breath work, a lot of meditation. It was like really powerful. I'm extremely intuitive. Like I know myself. So I know when it's time to grind. I know when it's time to chill. I know when it's time to go spend a couple $1,000s on a table and get fucked up and have a night with some great people. So like to your point, when I first met you guys, like I didn't drink for months. I was like, I'm just going to turn it off. And I just flipped the switch and I turned it off. I did it 2 months ago. I was like, I don't want to drink anymore in September. Just turned it off again for a full month. Didn't drink. And I can control that where I don't have an issue or a problem because I can just turn things off and on. Like, dude, I've been drinking 2 White Monsters a day every day for 8 years. And on Wednesday, I was like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Bad for the health. My heart is starting to have some problems. Don't enjoy it. And I just cold turkey and I'm done. So it's like I'm in control.
Do you have White Monster withdrawal right now?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, the good thing with White Monster, it's only like 140 milligrams of caffeine a can. Yeah, so it's not like you're jacking your it's not like you're jacking yourself up with 200 and 300 C4 cans of of caffeine.
I was just doing 2 of them, sometimes 3 of them, maybe adding the coffee in there and
and then you got the Lucy's. Then you got the Lucy's rocking.
The can of these every day. It's like,
dude, I used to subscribe to that as like people like, oh, like what's your way of getting success? It's like you wake up, crush enough caffeine to kill a horse and just get after your day.
Yeah.
Then I was like, I can't do this for much longer.
You got to go through those
for like
seasons.
A 6-month sprint. Yeah.
It goes back to seasons, bro. You got to go through that shit to like identify where in neutral is for you, because like we all have, as young guys, like I always talk about the stove on the hand. There's everyone in their life, their mom or their dad said, don't touch that stove. It's hot. But what do? You touch it. And you get blisters on your finger. At least that happened to me.
Yep.
He's like the only one who's touching it.
I'm the only one that has this story.
He's the only fucking idiot.
We all metaphorically do it. He's actually the only idiot that's physically done it.
But like all these different things, you have to test your limits on stuff, I think, at least.
Yeah.
This has been the craziest year of my life. Like I've operated on average 5 hours of sleep a night for the last, what are we in? November, 11 months. A lot of caffeine. And then when I drink pretty fucking hard. And dude, I've just been go. This has been by far the best year of my entire fucking life. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. But it's like, okay, my health is starting to deteriorate. So like we had our fun. Now it's like, let's do it in a more healthy way. Let's get a little bit more sleep. I'm a menace, dude. I will still push hard. I will still do my thing. I'll just take some vitamins and minerals while I do it and get a couple extra hours of sleep and life will be good.
It could be at both end, right? I think too many people look at it as an either or, that they have to eliminate things that they truly enjoy. And sometimes in certain seasons, you have to be willing, like you need some capacity to be able to like accelerate in some way, shape or form, because balance doesn't exist. Yep. If you want to be balanced, then have fun being mediocre for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree.
But that being said, I think not enough people subscribe to the both end where you can identify that maybe White Monster is not great. Probably not good objectively to be drinking Monster energy drinks in general, but let's just say you could still have some way, shape or form of caffeine, get a little bit more sleep and still rip it on the weekends.
Exactly.
And still hit your goals. It's a beautiful world. And I think the ability to create sovereignty comes through a bunch of shit that you have to go through.
Yep.
Do you think it's possible to get that level of control over your life without having gone through shit like you did? I know it doesn't have to be exactly like what you had to go through, but
you can't. Because when shit hits the fan, you've never been tested. You've never been in the deep fucking waters. So you have no idea how you're going to react. Like when I had Hinge like 2 years ago and it said like you can do the prompts and it said green flags I look for. And it said a woman that knows how to handle adversity. And still to this day, I would never date a woman that has not gone through adversity. Now, I'm not saying like I need your parents to have died and like your fucking house burned down and like, you know, like I'm not saying your whole family had to be murdered in front of you. I'm just saying like you have to know what happens in the deep fucking waters. And if you've never been in the deep waters, you can think, you can strategize, you can plot, but until you're out there swimming by yourself in the deep fucking waters, you have no idea. I've been there multiple times. I know exactly how I'll react.
Mm-hmm. So, if they don't have the ability to attack and lean into those situations, then you're going to be the one carrying all the weight the whole time.
Yep.
And I think it's all relative, right? Like I think where personally I had screwed up initially was like, damn, I'm living this like pretty much handed to on a platter to my on my plate. I was always working hard. You know, I worked my ass off with baseball and all that stuff, but like I had the access to mediocrity pretty well because my parents were able to grant me that, and I appreciate them for that. But I felt so guilty for not having many hard things in my life. Like I always say it, like my biggest problem in life was that I didn't really have that many problems. And so I felt so guilty that I wasn't like sleeping in my car or fucking homeless or ever broke, but it's all relative, right? And I think that's where at times, if you're growing up in, you know, a beautiful suburban community, you don't have many problems. There's times where you have to almost manufacture hard in your life to be able to grow through that adversity. And
so that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
I mean, we're upper middle class, got to play sports, had nice family cars, had go-karts and go-pads. Like I grew up very privileged. And it's funny now when people comment on my Instagram, like, oh, daddy's money or da-da-da. And I'm like, look, yeah, I grew up very privileged, but I wasn't handed this fucking mindset. If anything, that mindset worked against me until I started getting in the deep waters with the divorce, with the death, like, you know, with all these things, the DUI, et cetera. That's when I started really enjoying that because it fortified my mind and allowed me to turn into a more deeply connected person with myself. And so I'm grateful for those things. I didn't manufacture any of them. They just kind of happened, but the deep waters will come for everyone. Like life is fucking hard. There's going to be death, divorce, this, that, and the other. Like you just have to go through it and see where you come out on the other side.
Dude, that's so well said. It brings up something that I'm like thinking through I'll talk it out loud right now is like that invincibility level of mindset early on. It's like, it's a great trait to have as a, I'll speak for dudes because we're dudes on this, like, especially in business and sales, like we feel invincible. But when it's done through a naive lens, you feel like you have control over everything and you can reverse engineer every outcome until life smacks you in the fucking face. And then you realize like, okay, there's a higher being that has much more control than I do. And I am not invincible. I can get myself into real world shit consequences. But I have to be able to go through those consequences to realize that I am still in control of a lot of these situations, but I have to have respect to Mother Nature around it. I have to respect that there are a lot of other outliers that I can't have control over and still take that mindset to continue to evolve as a human. So not really a question, just more of an observation from what you're saying. So part of this podcast is the ability to like, you bring up something thought provocative and it allows me to start building new downloads in my life. So selfishly, this is what we do it for. So
happy to support yourself.
Yeah. Appreciate. This is all selfish, guys. Actually, this is me communicating my needs. And so you know, you've evolved and you took the next layer of starting your own business, and you started to earn real money, right? You've got a lot of things that you can quote unquote flex for. You've gotten the McLaren, things that like you know you were working hard for, but like, what are you actually hungry for? You know, now that you've received a lot of the things that you are working for, were they worth it? Was it the exact feeling that you wanted on the other side? Or is there something that your heart's like actually hungry for?
Yeah. When I was growing up, I was a little kid, and you know how they ask you like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're like 7, like firefighter, attorney, doctor, like all these fucking stupid ass answers. I just said freedom. Like, no, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, I just want to be free. And I don't know why, like just since I was a little kid, I just wanted freedom. And I would say the feeling I have now, and I wouldn't say like I've made it by any means financially, you know, like if I can't fly private every time I fly, no matter where I'm going in the world, in my opinion, I haven't made it financially. So that's like the next goal. It's like only private. And dude, there's people who make in a day what I make in 6 months, you know? So it's like, there's levels to the game, but I would say the feeling I have now, because I have freedom, I have enough money to do whatever I want for the most part. I would say the feeling is better than I thought it would be. Just the ability to have no one telling me what to do, no agenda. I make my own calendar. I can do whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want, with whoever I want. Like, I always wanted freedom, but now that I have it, I would say it feels better than I thought it would. Because what I've done is I've created, like, I've almost rigged the game to win, because the only way that I make money and the only way that I accomplish freedom is by helping people, right? Because I'm an online coach and I'm helping business owners get better at sales. So the only way I make money is by helping them. So the more freedom and the more money I have is a size of the impact that I'm having on the marketplace. So for me, I think the feeling is even better because I know that my freedom is built off the backs of helping other people make hundreds of thousands, some of them multi-millions. So it feels really fucking awesome. For me personally, I have the freedom, but at a deeper, more connected with myself level of knowing this was only possible by helping hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other people accomplish what they want. I think it's Zig Ziglar has the quote, if you help enough people get what they want, then you can have everything. And I've really adopted that and like leaned into it really fucking hard. That's why I do these client retreats. That's why I work 12, 15 hours a day, meeting with clients one-on-one and in group settings to like support them and make sure that if all of their dreams come true, mine will inevitably come true in the process.
So good, dude. As you continue to evolve and step into the next layer of whatever you're looking to engineer in business or life, what are you doing now that you have to, like, at least you feel like you have to let go of?
I mean, if I let go of like going out and stuff like that, I think that business could move a little bit faster. But at the same time, people ask me, like, how do you work 12, 15, sometimes 18 hours in a day? And it's because I only do that Monday through Thursday. So I've optimized my schedule to where Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I will still work, but there's no meetings. So it's like I can control when I work and what I'm doing. So I'm always rolling into the next week wildly refreshed, like eager, hungry to work. That's how I prevent burnout. When I have clients that are working 7 days a week, 16-hour days, I'm like, dude, you're going to burn out. Like, you're not a superhuman. Like, might be a week, might be a month, but I promise you will burn out. In the crash that you have will not have been worth the gains that you made in that time period. For me, I've just optimized it where I just work my fucking ass off Monday through Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I usually do like a little bit of work in the morning, and then maybe we go smoke a cigar with the boys in the evening. Maybe I go play golf in the morning the next day and then get some work done in the evening. Like, so I've just optimized everything to never burn out. So I'm just like, I don't know if there's much I have to give up per se, because I've pretty much damn well optimized life to just keep fucking moving and grooving without the burnout.
Is there a belief system that you had to let go of while you were going through this? So like, you go into this venture, you're like, I can get anything that I ever wanted and I'm building this business. Is there something that you believed previously that you had to let go of to get to where you're at?
Dude, I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire life. So when I started building this company, which is almost exactly 2 years ago, my 2-year anniversary was last week, my mindset was so fucking fortified and optimized. I would say like years ago, yeah. But now, like at 31, not really. Nothing comes to mind where I'm like, man, I really have this like limiting belief, or like I can't do this. Like I almost have a delusional level of confidence. Like when I watch F1, McLaren's having a good year. I got a McLaren. I'll tap into F1. I'm like, if I wanted it bad enough, I could fucking do that. Probably not. These guys have been racing these go-karts and cars and shit since they were like 3 years old. But I just have like a delusional level of confidence. Like if I put my mind to that, I could do it. And so I've taken that to business. I've taken that, like when somebody books a sales call on my calendar, I'm like, incredible. I have a new client. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, well, like what if they don't make that much money? Like, are they an ideal client? Like I just read their name. Like, great, Mike's a new client. Like, it's just that delusional level of confidence that I take to everything in my life. And that's why I think so many things work out.
Yeah. And I think you need that. That inherently is super valuable. And it comes down to, let me pause for a second. I'm thinking about something, because that level of mindset is super, super powerful, but it's also super dangerous in a way. And let me explain. So you and I were talking about this the other day, where it's like, as you continue to evolve, I just let go of a performance coach that I hired. I was just like, you know what? This is kind of just a little bit more of the same. just I've already evolved past the point that this person can help me. But it's part of it's true, but another part is it's a dangerous place to be by thinking that like, hey, we've all read the books, we've all done all the work, that we don't need to continue to evolve, right? So now I think it just makes it a little bit harder to identify what limiting beliefs are showing up or what belief system am I attaching myself to that I need to evolve from, because it exists at every single level. It just gets significantly more pinpointed. It's more of a needle in a haystack than not, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. And I think my secret weapon this year to like massive growth has been the people I surround myself with. Mm-hmm. Like I refuse to hang out with average people. I just won't do it, dude. Like I'll give an example. If I had like a toxic family that didn't support me, I wouldn't go home for Thanksgiving. I don't give a fuck if they're my blood. I don't care if they birthed me. I don't care. Like luckily my family is wildly supportive and incredible humans. So I'm excited to go spend time with them for Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. But I will say no to any environment that is surrounding myself with people that are not on the same level or above me.
Yep.
I just won't do it. And so this year I have radically optimized the group of people that I spend the most time with. And almost everyone I spend time with is either making the same amount of money as me, if not way more. Like I'm at dinner with Leo, is like $3.5 million a month. I want to have conversations with him, because those people help me elevate my standards and kill limiting beliefs and like push things to the next level. When you're hanging out with someone that you make in a month what they make in a year and a half, like you can learn from them. There are great things there, but if you do it too often, you're going to become the net sum of those people.
Yep.
You don't want everyone giving you flowers. Oh my God, you're so incredible. I want people to look at me and be like, dude, you're fucking poor, work harder. Like that's the environment I want to be in. And that's what my friend group that I've created this year has done really well for me.
Yeah. And I think there's something to be said to be able to like from a, let's keep money perspective, right? Like you're talking about people that make money. Let's just use that as the metric in the scenario. I think it's still important to have people around you that are still on the come up as you were, because you learn a lot about yourself while you're quote unquote mentoring other people.
Yep.
Right. And so like, I mean, part of that is just that's your job, right? You're coaching people that are likely less financially successful than you are, at least in the short term.
Yep.
And so I think that's a huge part. It's less about the metric and more about, do they have hunger to continue to learn? Do they have desire? Because if somebody has somebody could be making significantly less money, but significantly more evolved. That was you and I for so long, dude. Like we would get into these rooms and we would be put at such a high level of respect, and we'd be by far the brokest people in the room, but we would be the leaders of the room because of our ambition, our intuition, our ability to deliver value. So I just want to make sure that people that are listening to this are not like, oh, I can't be around people that are making more money than me because they'll think less of me. It's about how you show up in the room itself.
It's not even the money, it's the mindset that people have.
That's what I was 100%.
Because the people I've optimized with have incredible mindsets that are like really pushing it. And some of them make less than me, but that's okay, because their mindset, they fortified their mind and they're hungry and they're tenacious and they want more than what they currently have.
Right.
It's the hunger for more.
Summer just started the race a little later than you did, and you can identify the person that just might be a year or two behind where you were at a year or two. You know,
100%.
like those people, you know that you're willing to bet on those horses, knowing that they're going in that direction. And it's also a challenge to still, because in these circles, which is really the main circles we play around in as well most of the time, there's also this pull, or I feel a pull to stay grounded with reality as well, because all the people that we typically surround ourselves with are superhuman, relatively, like they're just high performers, high standards, which is important. There's also this reality of like, we're all humans on the planet, and we're talking about people that exist in the 1% of the 1%, so to speak. Yep. So how have you gone about as you've grown? You know, I assume probably going from making a few six figures to making a few seven figures, more money than your parents make, basically. Like, how have you evolved while also staying grounded to like where you came from? And like, I'm sure you still have friends you grew up with that aren't, maybe they're working 9 to 5s, but you also surround yourself in these amazing rooms. Like, how have you gone about finding that, again, balance doesn't exist, but finding that cadence, I guess, with just friends and people that you just enjoy doing life with, but then also obviously getting into these rooms with people that are helping elevate your standards and everything like that.
Yeah. When I walk into an environment, I am very aware of what I'm walking into. So if I'm walking into an environment with people that I know that are great people that I love, but maybe they don't have the business acumen or the tenacious mindset,
The abundance.
and they're kind of just happy where they're at. Well, I'm not going there with the purpose of talking about those things. I'm going there with the purpose of like, let's play a round of golf and talk zero about business and like take 4 or 5 hours to just disconnect from reality and to have some fun, because fun is a really important piece of life. And so it's like, I walk in knowing, but I'm also very guarded in terms of like, if conversations come up that are not serving me and they're trying to put their limiting or false beliefs on me, like I'm very vocal. And that's why a lot of people are like, oh, you're a dick. It's like, I'm not a dick. I'm just honest and I'm protecting myself. My dad called me the other day and he was telling me a story, and like, I'm like, fuck, dude, how long has this guy been telling me the story? Like, I got the point of the story, and I just cut him off. I'm like, yo, Pop, like, I got a meeting coming up. I got it. Like, I understand the story. Anything else? He's like, nope, all good. I'm like, all right, love you. Click. And it's like, some people might be like, dude, that's your dad. You should hear him out. You should listen to him. It's like, yeah, I understand that. But at the end of the day, like, time is our most valuable and precious resource and asset on planet Earth. And so it's like, I got the story. I don't want to hear you ramble about it for another 7 minutes, which is draining my energy right before I show up on a client call. That client pays me to be the best I can be. And right now this isn't serving me. So I have to just cut it off and be like, look, I'm good. I got the fucking story.
That's something that I've been learning a lot as a human, is like, how do I be super protective of my time and energy with empathy?
Yeah.
With a level of empathy of like,
dude, because whenever you do what's right for you, you're going to let someone down or something
100%.
down.
Yeah. That's been I think probably the biggest thing of letting go so far this year is the people pleaser. I don't think we've fully eradicated it, but the concept of understanding of like how you're showing up as a people pleaser and realizing how detrimental it is to how you show up to everyone else has been fucking tremendous.
But it's the easiest way to figure out who actually supports you.
Yep. Big time.
You know what I mean? Like when you can be honest with someone and be like, hey, I don't want to do this. It doesn't serve me in this way. The right people will understand. The wrong ones won't. And I was talking about this with one of my clients who was doing 75 hard when we were in the Bahamas. And I was like, how many of your friends have tried to convince you like, oh, dude, just have one drink with us? And he's like, yeah, like a lot. I'm like, those aren't your fucking friends. And I was like, imagine you come out to the Bahamas. You're like 50 days into 75 hard. And I'm like, dude, come on, we're in the Bahamas. Have a drink. That wouldn't be a good friend. That wouldn't be a good mentor. The people who support you, even when you're doing things that they might not necessarily agree with, or like it doesn't serve them, they will support you no matter what. Those are the fucking real ones. So the easiest thing is just to like hold true to your values. The people who don't agree with it, but support you anyway, those people actually give a fuck about you. The people are like, oh man, it's just one drink. Come on, take a shot with us. Da, da, da. It's like, for what? So you can feel better that you're drinking and I'm not. And like, you got me to do this thing. Like you're not a real friend at that point.
That's so good. That's why I'm so grateful for our relationship, is because like, I mean, Landon and I, we talk every single day, all day for fucking eternity, right? Like we're business partners. We do pretty much everything together.
Kind of jealous.
We've lived 90 friendships inside of one friendship. Like we've there's been seasons where we're like super aligned. There's been seasons where we're not. Like there's been seasons where like we're both doing the same shit. Other times where it's like we're living completely different lifestyles.
For sure.
And the beautiful part of it though is that like
in Japan, that was crazy.
Yeah. and the beautiful part of it though is that like we've continued to evolve, that we're open to having the tough conversations that it takes to evolve as a friendship. So it's almost like I've learned everything I could about how to interact with male friendships inside of one friendship.
Yeah, likewise.
It's pretty
well, because like
wild,
we've both been going through different seasons and journeys. Like you said, they didn't always intersect, and you know, we both have we've had moments where we start to pass judgment and kind of catch ourselves, and just radical communication's definitely been helpful, because like especially when it comes to the business side, it's like that's stuff where we take it for granted, but we see it every day with our clients, where it's like, I can't tell you how many times there's a partnership of two business partners that like, they don't have these tough conversations, but more than like once a year, or like maybe not even. And they're coming to us with like their problems that are a big deal to communicate to that other business partner. But for us, it's like, we probably over communicate.
Dude, people get uncomfortable with how he and I talk to each other in a setting. But like we've just done so much work on this whole thing, you know. I mean, we've been in a 13-year marriage at this point, you know, and it's like we've like all the dirty laundry's out, and it's been cool because the evolution of, hey, we're both out partying, then hey, I'm partying and you're not. Or then, hey, you're partying and then I'm not, and I'm judging you for it. And then also you're partying and I'm not judging you for it. Just these constant evolutions as a human, and having these tough conversations allows you to create a true lasting relationship that has a massive foundation.
The biggest thing I've just learned is like we're like think about it this way. Like Donald Trump became president in his 70s and Obama became president in his 40s. Like the highest seat in the land, 30 years of a gap in their lives. Like we're all on a different timeline. We're all on a different path. So it's like, who am I to say that the way that I'm living my life is the best way ever and pass judgment on you or anybody? So like, it's like, it's the true hopeful definition and pursuit of like taking your ego out and just focusing on solutions is really what it comes down to.
And that's, I mean, it's so well said, man. It's like, I don't want to judge you based off where you're at. I want to judge you based off your intention of where you're going.
Right.
And if I see that there's a true intent on where you're going, like I want allow if the desire is to stay friends, like I want allow that space. But most people, they don't have 30 years of experience. They have 1 year of experience 30 times.
Yep.
That's what really grinds my gears. The people that literally don't change. And so sadly, like, I mean, I tell this to my parents all the time, like our parents' generation's typically like that.
Yep.
It's just part of it. It's just all so rooted that we almost don't, like, we're not going to force them to change at this point. And so I'm just grateful that I know this is a side tangent, but just have a family that's like, they support me so much that it's still tolerable to be around them outside.
It's
outside
also
of the gross
it's also
part
just
of
a
it.
blessing to be in 2025 at our age, because like technology and flexibility and the freedom that we have didn't exist 30, 40, 50 years ago. There needed to be more structure, and there needed to be a lot more, and there was just a lot more structure available to people. Now we have the freedom to literally run multi-million-dollar businesses in our basement if we want to.
Yep.
It's a different universe that we're in now, which is awesome.
And that's why you can't judge like our parents' generation. They didn't have Instagram and TikTok. They couldn't just open up an app and be like, oh, there's people way younger than me who are way richer than me. Like maybe I could do something. Like they didn't have that inspiration to go out and push. They were kind of just a product of their environment. If they were raised in a big city, they probably thought there was more opportunity. If they were raised in a small bumfuck middle of nowhere town, like that's kind of all they knew.
Well, bro, these people, our parents were raised by people that had pensions, and people that had pensions worked 30 years for the same place.
Yep.
It's like, it's just ingrained through time.
And to another layer of that, our parents were raised by likely most of our parents immigrants that were literally fleeing communism, World War II, and went through the Great Depression.
Yeah.
And there were real problems to actually put food on these people's plates. So like, if we're looking scientifically, like all of that trauma, like you don't have time to work through your fucking trauma and therapy when you have to go out and make ends meet during the Great Depression. And so you're going to listen to what the government tells you. You're going to read what the newspaper tells you and hope that that's best for my survival. But if you don't process that epigenetically, that flows down to the next generation. 100%. And our parents only knew that to be true. So like when I talk to my dad about 9/11 being a fucking scam, basically, obviously not a scam, but you know what I mean? He was so emotionally attached to it because he was a firefighter in New York, first responder there, that he couldn't fathom that there was foul play going on there.
Yep.
And so like it's ingrained to them to like still believe the news. Like you were telling me you turned on Fox News the other day.
I can't last more than like 15 minutes on any of these news outlets. It's like,
I don't watch the news.
it's insane.
Yeah,
it's
never.
It's brutal.
Why would I do that?
It's just like you're feeding your brain with just hyper negativity and all these narratives. Like I always talk about this. Like if you go to the gym and you have the TVs on, you have like CNN, MSNBC, Fox, ABC, NBC, all these outlets covering the same story with different headlines that all send a different fucking message. It's insane. So like whatever you're downloading, whatever your go-to channel 6 or channel 25, whatever it is, that's what you're just letting other people tell you how to think.
And you're building hate towards the other side, right?
Yeah.
And it's like,
and we're way closer together than we're told to believe. Like we're not as far apart as we believe.
The second you believe there's other sides is when you lost the game.
Correct.
Right? Like we're fucking humans, man, and we're all pretty much down the middle for like we have both sides of us in all different directions, man, and ultimately like no one actually cares about the
all these hyper
side of it.
specific things get amplified when really like if we were going to list out all of our values as Americans, I guarantee you most of us would agree on the same shit.
Yeah.
My dad taught me when I was a little kid. He said, no matter what you do, somebody will hate you for it. He said, if you're a Republican, liberals will hate you, or vice versa. If you like this sports team, there's 31 other sports teams that are going to hate you for it. Like, he's like, you might as well just live your fucking life because someone, no matter what, is going to hate you. And that is what has made me so good at sales, because people are like, oh, I don't want to be salesy on a call. What if they don't like me? I'm like, so what? I was like, so what? You know how many people fucking hate me just for existing? I literally was talking to this girl yesterday and I was like, because we just met and I was like, hey, if you just looked at my Instagram, you don't know who I am, you don't know my heart, you don't know my intentions. Like, just if you just pulled up my Instagram today and you scrolled it, what would you think of me? And she doesn't click on anything. She just scrolls. She's like, oh, douchebag. Yeah, wow, flex, flashy, douchebag. And I said, okay, so what's the consensus? She's like, you're probably a piece of shit, self-centered, douchebag. And I said, great. Now let's do the same exercise again, but let's actually consume the content that I'm posting. She clicks on a video. It's me breaking down in tears, talking about how much I care about people. She's like, oh, wow, like that's really sweet. Next, there's like a long caption about how much I fucking love my clients and pouring into them and all the money I've helped them make and the lives I've changed. It's like, wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And she like actually consumes the content, not just on face value of what the cover photo is or the me shirtless or whatever, but she takes the time to read the captions and read the intention behind the message. I was like, so now what do you think? She's like, wow, like I would say that you have like a big heart and you really care about people. So it's like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me on the exterior. When I drive around town with no top on my McLaren and no top on my body, like people aren't like, oh, what a stand-up guy. They're like, oh, what a piece of shit. But I know who I am. I've done enough deep internal work where other people's opinions have zero effect on
it's
me.
To the point, like there's been maybe 3 or 4 times where obviously we've gotten close over the last year and a half, 2 years. Like your friends, I consider us good friends. Like I'm like, yeah, you just don't know him. Like he's a really fucking good dude, stand-up guy. Like you judge a book by its cover, that's on you, but like he's truly a good dude. So like that's the people close to you, and I'm sure the people closest to you all would agree with that statement.
They know my heart. They know my intentions. They know who I actually am. But that's why like I am just so unfazed by the opinions of others.
You're authentic, dude.
I can steer my course knowing that there's going to be chatter on the sides, and I don't really fucking care.
There's a level of respect you have to have, even against your biggest adversary, if they're just living out their authenticity. Even if you don't believe in anything or agree on anything that they say, you have to have respect for someone that's willing to like just completely be out there for their own beliefs.
It's the authenticity piece that I think is magnetic about you specifically, is like you're truly not trying to put on a show for anyone but yourself.
Yeah. Like the car I drive, I had on a canvas on my wall in my office for almost 5 years before I bought it. I bought that car for me. Like everything I do because it's something I believe in. Like I don't do anything. So I'm like, oh, like, well, people on social media think I'm cool. Like I don't give a fuck. Like genuinely, I do not care.
And what's crazy is like, I think the easiest way to let go, because it's a very tough process of like truly letting go of people's opinions, right? We're all wired to be like, oh, why do people hate? Especially once you start posting content, right? Like I knew that the flack was going to come the second that we started hitting viral posts. Like you want the negative comments because the negative comments keep the algorithm going. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm cool with it. I had to talk to Bobby the other day. I'm like, dude, stop letting the negative comments get to you, bro. There's 40,000 comments on this post. Most of them are going to be people shitting on you, and that's okay. Yep. Like rewind 2,000 years. This is just an excerpt on just human behavior. Jesus Christ, arguably the most perfect individual. I'm not even going to argue it. The most perfect individual to have ever walked this earth, whether you believe he was God or not, doesn't matter. There's a scientific fact. Probably the best person that you could possibly mimic yourself after. Literally came and said, they are going to hate you if you believe what I'm telling you. And was just normal. Like his headlines were shocking at the time. Like, oh, there's only one God. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't try and get over on people with money. Like, don't scam people. All these types of things that are like, you know, relatively same concepts of things that we want to live out today that people will still hate on and quote unquote crucify you for. And so now the version of crucifixion now is hating on people in comments and stuff. So it's nothing's really changed about human behavior for thousands of years. Yep. It's wild, man.
And that's why I don't understand why people give a fuck. Like, why do you care about a stranger on the internet who has a picture of a cat, 0 posts? Like, why do you fucking care?
Because you're not actually defining your own success metric. You're renting other people's success metrics, so you're not fully secure with how you're living your life and showing up. In my opinion,
it's a sad way to fucking live.
Which I'd love to know your guys' perspective, because like I'm very like disengaged from social media, and have my own issues with just like my relationship with it. Like I was addicted to it coming up in high school, and then I kind of like fell off after college as I got into business. But like, could you guys talk about both of your relationships with social media? Like, because like both of you live very authentic lives. I know you guys both personally very, very well, but you're also pumping content out there. And I always am trying to understand like the mindset of being as authentic as you are, but still wanting to share that authenticity with a lens basically on it to the universe. Like, could you just talk through like what your journey's been like? Cause you didn't have social media for a while.
Yeah.
You had social media for a long time, but you didn't start posting until after college. Like you were the guy during high school and college that would post like maybe once a year, if that. Like you probably had 2 years without posting something. Totally. And then you hit the ground running, like, and haven't looked back. And same thing on your end. You didn't even have an Instagram or a social media platform presence. And then you hit the ground running. Just suddenly, it sounds like post divorce.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know who wants to go first, but I'm just always curious to know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I just need it for business, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't get clients from social media, the reality is, like, I'd probably have a close friend story just to, like, fuck around with the boys on.
Right.
But, like, other than that, I just don't. Like, I don't really care. I use it to help people. I mean, I had a guy come up to me in the gym yesterday, and I'm on the treadmill, and he goes, I'm making a lot of money off your YouTube channel. I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. He's like, yeah, I'm a fitness coach. I watch all your videos. It's like, raise my close rate. You got me to raise my prices. So, like, I use it to help people. Right?
That's awesome.
If I can inspire people, like, it's the law of increase. You leave everyone and everything better than you found it. So if people can come to my social media and feel inspired, and then if they want to take that step and actually work with me, amazing. But like, if I wasn't getting clients from social media, like, I went years without it and didn't care. Like, I had no need for it because I was a sales rep working for people. Like, I didn't care about social media. And then post divorce, when I started my company, I was like, okay, well, I need to get clients, and like, people have to know I exist. And so that's kind of why I use it. And but that's why I also follow 0 people right now. I don't want to consume. I want to create. Yep. And that's the problem for most people, is they are just consuming and consuming.
And that hyper comparison, that like they're constantly unconsciously comparing themselves to other people, and they're only seeing like 10% of what of that person's reality actually is anyways.
Well, the nature of these platforms is to do that. Right. Like that's it's engineered to do that. Right. So like chemically you're forced to do that if you're right. in the algorithm, right? Which is why I think it's so important to create your own algorithm. Like for me, I initially started posting because I wanted to just let my ex know that I was doing better, but I wasn't. I was literally like, okay, let me like radically put out this toxic level of positivity that felt really good for me. And it was changing a lot of people's lives. Like in the beginning, I didn't know how to go viral and shit, but like my immediate network, people were like, yo, really appreciate you posting, especially it was kind of during COVID. So a lot of people were like, hey, I need to hear this. And then I started to actually believe the things that I was saying. It was like I was pretty much like experiencing it falsely first. And then my subconscious was starting to wire my identity to become that person, which there's some merit to actually doing that if you're doing it for a good intention. And then I never really needed it for business. It got us a lot of business, but it was not our need, but it's definitely a huge thing for brand. But then I've shifted over the years because part of it was reverse engineering my algorithm to be exactly the way I want it, because I am susceptible to doom scrolling. So if I am going to doom scroll, I want to make sure that it's like things that I want to be able to see. And then also I cut out anything that doesn't serve me. So many people got mad at me because like 1,500 people I just unfollowed, and they're like, yo, you fucking hate me? Or something. I was like, no, I just need to do what's right for me right now. And you're rather not posting things, or you're posting shit that I don't really care for. I catch myself comparing to you. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. So sometimes you just got to go like radical in the opposite direction. But then now it's more of it's a tool for brand. And then I did create an intention where I will never intentionally try and live some level of like a non-authenticity through this channel, which is why I do this interview-based podcast where like, this is my podcast. I get an opportunity to say whatever the fuck I want. If someone doesn't like it, fuck you. But then I give other people a platform to share, and I get to learn through them. So I want the intention around this podcast and the content I do is I want people to learn through me, not from me. Because I want to be able to ask the questions and learn from you so that somebody else can learn from me.
Learn Lead Podcast,
dude. The OG, man. It's full circle to be able to like, you and I have done a podcast for 6 years before this thing. So yeah, I mean, I catch myself still comparing at times, but I think after a while you build the muscle of intuition of knowing when you're in a specific
Well,
zone.
it's also, who's to say that all comparison is bad, right? Like
sure.
That there's,
you know, be inspired.
You can be inspired and motivated, or whatever motivation means nowadays. Everyone's saying motivation's a lie now, so whatever. But I don't think all comparison's bad. You know, I think it feels, and maybe this is a symptom of me needing to go and unfollow 1,000 people, because like I avoid going on Instagram because I just like don't enjoy seeing what I see in there. It's like I get to a point where I'm like, I genuinely like don't care about most of these people's lives. If I do something really cool, I would like send him a text message of a picture, or I'll like text my brother, or like just send some, internally, but because I'm not getting clients from it, there's no business from it. All the people that matter to me in my life are in proximity to me anyways. So I guess like for me, I probably just need to go unfollow a few thousand people.
Yeah, I mean, I'll personally follow the people that I want to like be able to get life updates from and see their stuff. And then like I have a level of discernment now, which I think we've all created, of knowing like 5 years ago, there was so much imposter syndrome because I'd see people with Lambos and having these online coaching programs, and not saying that all of them are Fugazi, but like 95% of them are Fugazi, but like now I know, because I mean, we deal with these people all the time. So I'm like, oh, that guy's a scammer. Cool. Unfollow. Or I could just be like, yo, that guy's legitimately a scammer. Like I still follow Baller Busters because it's fucking hilarious though. So like all that type of stuff is, just being very in tune with yourself and the season that you're in, of like, can you mentally afford to consume this content?
Right.
Now?
Well, you said Baller Busters. I have never heard of this channel, but it sounds hilarious. It sounds like
the scammers.
Yeah, so basically they're just putting like these Fugazi Lambo rentals on blast, right?
Yeah. But this is like, it all comes back to seasons. In September, I was like, I don't want to drink anymore, and I don't want to consume anybody's content. And I literally only followed 69 people, and I unfollowed all 69 people, and then I quit drinking for a month. And it was really off the back because in August, I had my lowest revenue month that I had in like 14 months. I was just having a little too much fun. Like I was just being a fucking menace, dude. Like I was just tearing up the streets and having a ton of fun. And I was like, okay, like I've swung too far in this direction of fun. Dude, all my clients were taken care of. It's not like I neglected my clients. They were always being taken care of. They would have no idea. But I wasn't actively doing the things that I need to do to get new clients and grow and scale the business, which ultimately means helping more people. And I was like, okay, I just need to swing back in this direction, lock in, quit drinking, want to unfollow everyone, and just like really go hard. And then we had a great month.
Where are you at your best? Like what does like life look like for you at your best, do you think? What's your day look like? What's your cadence?
Well, dude, it's like changing now that I quit the White Monsters, because like it was different. So I would say when I was at my absolute best, not in terms of health, but just like mental health good, business health good, friendship health good, go to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning or so, get up at 5:15, slam a White Monster in the shower, be in the gym by 6 to 7, first meeting at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6.
You eating it all during this?
Yeah, I have my chef. So I just heat up food. I've optimized life. House is clean. Everything is taken care of. And then at 6, obviously there's a bunch of work that's stacked up during the day that was not able to get done because I was on so many meetings. And then from like 6 to 9 or 10, depending on how much there was, I would get all my other work done. Sit on the couch for an hour, hang out, watch some YouTube, whatever, and then go to bed and do it all over again. Do that Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, half days to catch up, and then just have some fun. I did that this entire year for the most part.
Wow.
And that's when I felt fucking unreal.
Unstoppable?
Yeah.
What, you like being in all these meetings? So like, you're talking like 12 meetings a day?
Yeah.
Like 10, 12 meetings a day?
Yeah.
You enjoy that though. It's not like you feel like I have to be on all these meetings 24/7. It's a fun game to you. It almost seems.
People are like, how do you not burn out? Because I'm like, 'cause I fucking love what I do. Like, what do you mean? Like, why would I burn out doing what I love? What fuels me, which gives me energy? And they're either sales calls, one-on-one calls, or group calls. And so I'm either selling people into my program to help them live the life of their dreams. I'm serving and building relationships one-on-one, or I'm serving in a group setting with 30, 40, 50, 100 people at a time. So it's like, I fucking love it. Like it gives me energy. It gives me purpose. And I'm one of those people, maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. I find my value from how hard I work. Like if I just sit around all day and do nothing, I don't go to bed feeling productive. I go to bed feeling wildly unproductive. And I'm like, fuck, like who did I help? What did I do today? Nothing. I sat on the couch and watched fucking Netflix all day. I don't feel good about that. So I find self-worth and value from the output that I do in the world of business and helping people. Yeah.
Dude, it's, I mean, collectively, this room has probably taken 3,000 to 4,000 meetings this year. Like it's something that I actually catch myself still in the comparison of people that don't take meetings. They're all like looking at me like, dude, like, why are you on all these meetings? Like they'll call, hey, you want to have a coffee? Sorry, I got a meeting right now. And there's a lot of people that work, but they'll work from like 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. and then they just sleep till 11. That doesn't even make sense to me. But right now in this season, I'm like, okay, cool. I've done this whole 13 meetings a day for 5 years in a row. And I mean, he does it better than I've ever seen, of like not being able to get burnt out from it. But right now for me, I'm almost manifesting to my team that like meetings are the devil right now for me, because I need margin on my calendar to like go do non-meeting things.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's just a constant evolution. I think people think that there's going to be a place that they get to, and then that's it. It's just an evolution all the time if you're growing, dude.
It's a season of
always
change.
Seasons, dude. And that's why I think reflecting is so big. Even being able to talk about these things on the podcast and take stock is like, all right, cool. 6 months ago, I was there. That worked. That didn't. Where do I need to optimize this? And then how do I forecast that season in 6 months from now?
But you know, this is why people have midlife crisis, right?
Yeah.
Because they never check in with themselves. And they wake up one day at 58 years old and they look themselves in the mirror and they're like, I'm fat, I'm broke, I hate my partner, I don't like the city I live in, I hate my fucking job. And it's so much pain in that moment that they just snap and they have a midlife crisis. I check in with myself almost every hour of every day. Like when I leave here, I will check in with myself, like, what do I need to do to serve me right now? Is it healthy food? Do I need to go back to the gym? Do I need to go be around other great people? Do I need to just go in my office and work? So I'm constantly checking, like I check in with myself more in a day than I would say the average human does in a lifetime. And that is why they wake up one day at 50, 60 years old and they fucking hate themselves and it's too much pain and pressure and they just break. You have to check in with yourself. You have to make sure the things you're doing are the right things to serve you in that moment. And if you're not checking in with yourself, you're just going to end up somewhere. And most of the time people don't enjoy where they end up.
How do you manage your relationships? So like you're checking in with yourself, you're growing your business, your life, everything's going great. How have you managed relationships with your clients, your team, your friendships? Like, how do you manage all that? Or how do you optimize all that stuff as you've grown?
It just comes naturally. So friendships is easy because true friendships, I don't need to see these people all the time.
Right.
You know, like I got a FaceTime from a buddy last night. He's like, dude, I fucking miss you. And I'm like, I know, man. He's like, I see you've been traveling. Like you're fucking killing it. Like if you're in town, like let's grab dinner. Like, so those relationships are very easy to manage because they're authentic and genuine relationships that aren't predicated off of me just giving them my undivided attention all the time, which isn't healthy. Clients is easy. They have me on 2 group calls every single week for the 12 weeks that we work together. So there's 24 opportunities for that. And then they have my calendar and they can book in one-on-one calls. They get a set amount of one-on-one calls and they can book them anytime that they need them. So it's like they are required to put in the effort to show up to the meetings, to book the calls. Like I'm not going to hunt them down and do it for them. I'll check in and be like, hey, where you at? Like I checked in a guy yesterday. I'm like, yo, you never joined Slack. I haven't seen you on the group calls. You've been in the program 2 weeks. What are we doing? He's like, fuck, dude, you're right. I've been a shitty student. Like, thank you for reaching out. And then we get him back on track. I don't manage family that well. Like it was my nephew's birthday the other day and I was like 9 o'clock at night and I was like, oh fuck, it's his birthday. I called my brother. I was like, is it his birthday today? He's like, yep. And I was like, okay. Yeah, you guys do anything? He's like, oh yeah, we just had like the family over. They didn't even invite me because they know I'm probably not going to come anyway. I don't know. I don't manage family that well, but my family knows that I really fucking care. I'm just in a season of like building and grinding and growing, and like they kind of watch from a distance and they're like really fucking proud of me. So it's like, I don't know, it just comes naturally, organically. It's pretty easy. Like if you just live authentically, the right relationships are tended to and taken care of, and the ones that weren't that important or serving you kind of just fall to the wayside.
Yeah, I just wrote that down yesterday of things that I need to subtract and start doing. I put down calling my parents at least once a week. They call me, but I don't make an intention to call them. And a lot of times I'm just like, all right, let's get off the phone now. It's just the constant same conversation. But I read Sahil Bloom's book, the 5 Types of Wealth, and it hit me so hard because the second you move out, and let's say you're in your mid 20s or 30s, the second you move away from home, you probably on average only see your parents like 40 to 50 times for the rest of your life.
You've already spent 93% of your time with them.
Dude, like that.
Jesse Itzler talks about this a lot.
That shit hit me so hard
Yep.
when I found that out. I was like, if there's a clock and an expiration date on when I'm going to see my parents again, like maybe I should be a little bit more intentional with how I show up on this 10-minute time I get to talk to my parents this week.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse to just like, I'm not going to let that suck my energy because at times there's just like, there's shit to do, you know, like I have shit to do. And they're very empathetic to that, but I can definitely see myself coming off as energy as like, I'm better than you. I don't need to be on the phone with you right now. I got shit to do. And that shit, it fucking hurts me when I look at itself like that, man. It's painful.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was healing for me.
It's good. Yeah, because I've caught myself doing that as well.
Yeah.
But that's why I am like everything in my life I think is strategic. The people I spend time with, the restaurants I eat at, the things I do, the stages I speak on, the podcasts I choose to go on, like everything to me is strategic. And so my parents, it's also a strategic move. It's like, okay, I am not going to answer this call or make this call if I don't have the time to give them my undivided attention, because that's what they deserve.
Sure.
So I don't want to have a half-assed conversation for 6 minutes right before a meeting when I can just text them and say, hey, can I call you back when I'm done with my meetings? Then I can give them 30 minutes or an hour, however long we're going to talk. Like I can give them my undivided attention. It's kind of just strategy on when you do those things to make sure that they get the time and the attention that they deserve.
It's also quality over quantity. Like, you know, like my fiance sees her family all the time. Like when we were back in Philly, living in Philly, sees them all the time. I see my family once every other month, once a month, give or take. Like now that I'm down here full time, probably once every other month I see them. But when I see them, the quality of the conversations is like 10x. Like we actually have things to catch up on in person. Versus like if I'm seeing them every week, if I'm seeing them every weekend, it's like we're just kind of all floating around, going through the motions and redundancy. Same thing on the phone, like with the phone calls. Like I don't want to talk to my mom and my dad every single day personally. And that sounds bad to some people, but I genuinely don't. There's not like, I hope you have a great week. Love you, thinking of you, miss you. Cool. But like, what am I going to, am I going to have the same conversation with you every morning at 7 a.m. about, I had dinner last night. You know, the fucking cat took a shit in the litter box and dragged shit through the house. Like, what do you want me to tell you? Like, it's,
dude,
you know,
bless my parents' heart, man. They still call me every single day.
Do they
and
really?
It's the same exact. My dad has called me since
Are
I
they
moved
married
out.
or divorced?
Yeah, they're married. They probably should have gotten divorced.
Do they call
fucking
you
10
like on
years ago.
speakerphone, like together?
At times, yeah. Like sometimes
That's
my dad
cool.
will call me and my mom like, is that Anthony on the phone? Hold on, she'll like go walk upstairs.
Hey, I will say, I wish that I still got the calls like that.
Yeah, it's like
I would
it's
have
beautiful.
to ignore them though. I would take
So
them all.
like here's my thing. So I've created this list of people in my life that if they call me, I answer. And now I let them know like, hey, if you call me 3 times, then I'll actually like I'll get off a meeting and I'll be like, hey, I got to call my dad back right now in mid meeting. But if my dad calls and I miss it, like it's all right, he's just calling for his check and I'll call him after this thing.
Yeah.
But he'll call me and every day, hey, what's up? How you doing? Good, man. Making money? Yeah. How's the dog? Great. When are you coming home? Great. All right, bye.
I've heard
every
this. I
single
can corroborate.
day.
I've heard this conversation every single day, and like I can relate to what you're saying too, because like your dad calls you, he's rambling, saying I don't even know your dad, but he's saying a lot about nothing, and you get where the story's going, and he's not checking in and listening to you or talking to you. It's just like he's getting something off of his chest or just telling you the same thing you've probably heard 7 other times before. That's where like if I could give advice to like parents whose kids are out of the house, like be like just as present with your kid as like you would want them to be with you, and don't go through the motions of like just rambling just because you're happy to have your kid on the phone. It's like just actually have intention with your conversation.
Yeah.
As if they're sitting in front of you.
It provides me such a good tool to learn about myself though, because there's so many times I get so frustrated. Like my dad, every time I come home, picks me up from the airport. And for the 35-minute ride home from JFK, all he's doing is fucking complaining about the same shit over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, Dad, when are you going to come visit? Oh, fucking busy, man. I can't stand your brother's upstate. He leaves me alone to work to myself. And we got too much business. We got too little business. We got this going on. And for a while, I used to like provide solutions. And now I'm just like, I just listen.
Yeah.
And I've started to realize, I'm like, do I want to lose my relationship with my dad? No. We've had a rocky relationship when I moved out and stuff, but like, we're in a really good spot. So if that answer is no, I'm not going to change that, man. Yeah. So what do I need to change about myself to be able to not get frustrated inside of these conversations? And so it's teaching me so much about like learning on how to have patience. Like what do I need to be letting go of as a human while I'm with them to not be aggravated half the time they're talking to me?
You know what I learned from my last relationship is anytime she would come to me with something to vent about or a problem or whatever, I would just ask the same simple question every time. Hey, before you tell me what you're going to tell me, are you looking for me to come up with a solution, or are you looking for me just to simply hold space for you? Because then I couldn't be wrong. Because it was always like, I'm trying to provide a solution. She's like, I just want you to hold space. And then I'd hold space. She's like, you're not saying anything. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, so I would just put it on her. I'm like, hey, which of these do you want?
Right.
And then whatever she told me, I was like, okay, I can just do that thing.
Simon Sinek says it best. He's like, most of the time, people just want you to sit in the mud with them.
Yeah.
Dude, with women, 99.9% of the time, they just want to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many more times are you going to tell me you don't like your job before fucking quitting? Like, how many more times do I be like, yo, this is a very easy solution? And then I realize, like, they just want the shoulder to lean on.
Yep.
They just want you to, like, but they don't want you to, like, hear them. They want you to, like, truly listen to them. They want to feel heard. They don't want you to just listen. They want to feel heard. If you pick up your cell phone in
that moment, you're fucked. It's got to be like no phones, like fully present, like you are looking them in the eyes, like,
Bro, my therapist gave me a tactic. So I'm always big on principles, but sometimes tactics are really, really important for me. So like I caught myself when I was in a relationship, was just so disinterested half the time of saying when they were talking. Like that's always been a fault of mine. It's just like, fuck, I'd rather be with the boys right now. There's so much other shit to talk to. Like, I don't care if fucking Becky at work is having a breakdown, but this matters to my partner at the time. And so he basically told me, like,
your partner, like, was it he, right?
Yeah. So in this case, it was a she. And so when she's telling me about this stuff, he told me basically, like, a good tactic is to, even if you're not as interested, but you want to make sure that she feels heard, act as if you're watching a really interesting movie or a show and you're basically eating popcorn sitting on the edge of the couch and like just, and you're constantly engaged.
And look like that too.
I know that it could seem manipulative, but at least that's an opportunity to like truly show your partner that you care, even if you don't.
You know, this is why I don't go out to dinner with women. I don't go on dates because I don't know them and I don't know the quality of the conversation. And I am the kind of guy, I kid you not, if I sit down at dinner and I'm not enjoying the conversation, it's not going anywhere, I will put $200 on the table. I will say, hey, dinner is paid for. You seem super sweet, just not sweet for me. I hope you have a fantastic night. Do you need me to call you an Uber? You're good. And I'm fucking out. I will literally leave. I don't fucking care. And this is why people think I'm a dick, but it's like I am just radically protective of my time and energy. And maybe it's because, you know, my girlfriend died in college. Like maybe it's because I burned up my entire 20s in a shitty toxic relationship. And maybe I feel like I have like time to make up, but I'm just wildly sensitive of my time and who is in my presence and what I am consuming from other people. I don't care. You can go blast me on Facebook and tell all your friends I'm a piece of shit. I don't care. I have to protect my time. Like if we sat down in this podcast was kind of annoying or like just wasn't really going anywhere, but look, I fucking love you guys. Like don't really love your podcast. Like, okay, I could do a million other things and I would get up and fucking leave. Like and people think that I'm an asshole, but at the end of the day, like I'm just wildly protective of my time and my energy and what I consume.
What do you think of the pod?
It's fucking great.
I'm having fun.
Yeah,
this is fun.
Dude, I can sit here and conversate with intelligent people all day. Like,
I appreciate you giving us that much credit. So
you guys are two of my favorite people anyway.
You're the man.
So I don't think we've ever had a bad time. Speaking of, we got to get him on the private jet for the next golf trip.
Yeah,
I'm probably just gonna give my seat to someone, depending on the jet. I don't like small planes.
I know you don't.
Oh, really?
But dude.
Yeah.
We also can't afford for both of us to be on the same plane if it goes down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we only have a small amount of life insurance on each other.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, it's huge. Actually, you got to protect the risk. It's like the the people that there's like a sacred recipe in the world, and like they have multiple people. They don't travel together. You know,
we had someone ask us, a client, on Wednesday or Thursday, say, hey, like, what happens if like you die? And we're like, oh, damn, that's a great question. No one's like, a client's never asked us that.
I have it on my task, literally, answer Chris' big question. Today, I'm sitting down and answering that question of like, how do we, like, what happens there?
Yeah.
So, that's huge. That was so funny. While I was prepping this, I saw that as a task to
going back to the date thing, the question for you, like, you would get dinner with the female that you met and had a conversation with, maybe out somewhere, and you thought she was interesting and you knew there would be more to go, like there would be more to this, like there could be more to this, and you were interested, you would at that point get dinner with them. But if it's like, no.
I'm actively avoiding relationships.
You don't get dinner with females at all?
I mean, I had dinner with a client who was a female.
I'm saying for dating purposes.
No.
So what do you do? Like, what do your dates look like?
I don't go on dates.
You just send them your address?
Yeah, but like, that's it? Like,
most of the time.
Like, hey, I have a hot tub and a cool man cave.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll shift eventually?
I can't predict the future. You know, I like people always tell me, like, dude, you're going to settle down one day. But like, my thing is like, I really don't want kids. Like, I've just never had a calling of like wanting to be a father. Like, do I think it'd be pretty cool? Yeah. And everyone who has kids are like, you'll never understand until you have one. I'm like, Yeah, but that's the same thing with everything in life. You're like, you'll never understand a white monster until you have one. How fucking awesome it is. Like, you know, but the difference is like...
He said he's not going through withdrawal, but all he does is talk about white monsters. So
Maybe you should have a kid instead.
I miss it, dude. I miss it. But I mean, the reality is like, I've just never had this like crazy calling. And people are like, well, that's going to change one day. I'm like, and if it does, it does. Like, I live my life so radically present. I think my least favorite question that I get asked, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't know, dude. Hopefully not dead. Like, I have no fucking clue. Like, I don't know. Like, well, like, where do you want to live? I'm like, Tampa, I think. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, if I can focus on the inputs today and I max out today and I do that tomorrow and the next day and the next day, where I end up in 5 years will be so astronomically beyond what I ever thought possible that there's no point in predicting the future.
well, if you know freedom is the target anyways, it's all good.
And that's where I think it
can't fuck
becomes
it up.
radical getting true with what you really want out of life. Because my question to you on that, and we're nearing the wrap up point, so I'll leave this as probably the last question, is like, how do you manage the dichotomy of what you just said and being present, which is awesome, with casting a large vision, hitting goals, wanting to be somewhere at some point? Because at one point, before you got to where you're at today, you did want to get to where you're at today. So how has that shifted now, and what does that look like?
I just have trust that if I do the right things, the right inputs today, my future will be taken care of. It's impossible not to.
Yep.
If I just do all the things today, it's impossible to not get to where I want to go in the future. And it's like right now, I don't want a relationship. So I'm not going to do things today that lead me closer to getting in a relationship. I'm not going to fucking go out on dates and like get all these girls hot and horny for a relationship and then break their hearts. Like that's not the law of increase. That'd be the law of decrease. I am breaking hearts.
You're also in a relationship with me anyway, so it's fine.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, dude, I'm just like so I think it drives people crazy that I am so happy on my own. I think it really rubs, especially women, the wrong way because I am just so happy alone. They can't fathom it because 99% of the world is so unhappy with themselves in their life, in their money, and where they live, and the people they surround themselves with, and the food that they eat, that it really drives them crazy that I have completely optimized my life to be 110% satisfied and fulfilled and happy by myself.
And you can't fake that. You can fake it for a short amount of time, but for the amount of time I've known you, I know you're like that. And so it's been truly awesome to see, and someone who supports you and loves you, man. It's just, I think we could all relatively say the same. So it's beautiful, man. I appreciate you both coming on, man. This has been a fun one. I've really enjoyed this.
We need the boys pod, you know?
Good times.
You invited me on. I was like, I want to do it if Landon's here.
I was gonna go to Siesta Key today.
We would have had to reschedule.
Yeah, 3 days ago he bailed.
It wasn't on the calendar. Like this wasn't on my calendar, so
That's Ella's fault.
Total Ellis.
I was like planning on going to the beach, but then Alana had work and blah blah blah. So here we are.
Everything happens for a reason, boys.
That's it.
Love you, boys.
I love
Appreciate
you
you guys.
Thanks
Much
for having
love.
me.
Let's go.
What's up, puppy?
Nice work.
What's up?
That was good.
That was great. I really liked that.
Appreciate you guys.
Good times.